Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Richard Neuwirth and I'm the CFO of S&T AG. S&T is an Austrian corporation headquartered in Linz, approximately 1.5 hours from Vienna. We have been founded approximately 20 years ago and started our business as classical IT product provider and have transformed the business over course of time, becoming one of the regional leaders in IT services in the DACH region and in Eastern Europe, and one of the global leaders within IoT connectivity solutions. As of today, approximately 85% of our business are being done in Europe. We are also present in North America, especially in Canada and the USA, which represents approximately 10% of our business, and another 5% in Asia, predominantly in China. As of today, S&T employs approximately 6,100 employees in more than 33 countries. We are a member of the TecDAX and the SDAX and listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. As already briefly mentioned, S&T has been a company undergoing a business model transformation over the last decade. While we started our business as provider of IT products such as entry-level server storage systems, PCs, notebooks in the year 2008, we have both with acquisitions but also with internal R&D in the meantime transformed the company into one of the leading IoT players on the market. So with the year 2011, S&T started its IT services business, which at this point in time represented approximately 80 to 90% of our revenues, whereas as of today, more than 2/3 of our revenues and profits are already coming from our own IoT solution segments. Here we are offering own embedded hardware and software solutions, as well as customization and support services. And that's also a path which S&T plans to continue to add constantly new IoT products, both via acquisitions, but also with our extensive R&D efforts, and also provide in the future IoT as a service or SLA contract to our customers. And with this plan, we target that by the year 2030, more than 90% of our revenues and profits shall come from our IoT solution segments. What are actually the markets where S&T is in? We are addressing a variety of B2B end markets, such as telecommunication, medical systems, energy, public transportation, aviation, or for example, also the retail business. And the biggest market for us currently is the area of industrial automation, where we are among the main providers of such solutions on a global perspective. Overall, we are focused solely on business-to-business solutions. We are not offering any business-to-consumer products. That's also why the S&T brand might not be that common on the public market. And here within the B2B, we are mainly focused on the secure connectivity of machine to machines, which is a market growing at a very fast pace, as of today, only a small amount of the machines are connected via the internet. We are organized in 3 different segments. On the left-hand side, the IT services segment, that's the history where S&T is coming from. In this area, we are a classical provider of IT services such as consulting, integration, and outsourcing services, which from a geographical perspective, we are only offering in the DACH region, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, and in Eastern Europe. That's steadily growing and also profitable business, whereas the EBITDA margins achievable within the IT services are somewhere in the range of around 7-8%. And definitely lower compared to our IoT solution segments. Within IoT solutions, we are in-house developing own embedded hardware and software solutions for vertical end markets such as industrial automation, transport, telecom, energy, or medical, which via our subsidiaries we are selling in the European Union, in Asia, and also in North America. In those segments, we are seeing an EBITDA potential of around 14%, so twice as high compared to the IT services area, and also the growth is in the low double-digit range compared to an annual growth in the IT services of around 6%. That's why both our M&A activities, but also our internal investments are being focused on the IoT solution segments. The technologies S&T is focused on are mainly related to connectivity. That's also one of the driver for our growth. On the one hand side, one of our focus topics is our own IoT SUSITech software framework. That's a middleware allowing you to build up industrial grids with technologies such as time-sensitive networking for real-time networks, but also with soft PLC and embedded software. That's one of the key strategies for S&T going forward, as these software revenues and also the related customization and consultancy services are also triggering additional hardware sales. Further important topic for S&T, and that's also why we have conducted the acquisition of Iskratel in the year 2020, is the 5G opportunity, where we are focused with Iskratel and our own 5G core stack on the connectivity using the new mobility standard. That's also something playing into our train control systems, where we are one of the leading providers with a market share of around 40% in Europe of mission critical connectivity systems along the train lines. Here we have currently a technology change going from GSMR, so it's second generation mobile communication technology, to also 4 and 5G, where we can leverage our 5G IoT WAN networks also to other vertical end markets. And also another smaller, but from a technology perspective, very interesting area is the area of autonomous driving, where in cooperation with Intel and Mobileye, S&T has developed an embedded real-time system certified for level 4 autonomous driving, which we are currently rolling out to the market. One of the key differentiators of S&T Group is the excellent pool of resources for engineering, which we are having in-house, given our Eastern European presence, also with a very good cost advantage. And overall, that's important, as right now S&T is spending around 15% of our revenues for engineering, that we also can leverage upon this lower cost seller in Eastern Europe within S&T Group. As previously mentioned, S&T is listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange and is a member of the TecDAX and of the SDAX. We have one key shareholder, Ennoconn Corporation, itself a stock listed company in Taipei in Taiwan, which largest single shareholder is Foxconn, known to the public as, for example, the producer of the iPhone. The remaining around 73%, except the 3% treasury shares, which S&T currently holds, are free float on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. As of today, the S&T share is being covered by 7 analysts, all giving a buy recommendation with an average target price of around 30 euros. So right now we have an upside on the share price compared to the consensus of approximately 50%. We are also paying a lot of attention to our shareholders. That's on the one hand side based on our TTS, or our Transparency, Trust and Share program, where we have this year on the one hand side put really a lot of focus to provide additional transparency with disclosures on top of the obligatory figures when it comes to organic growth, on the distribution of our revenues and profits across the regions, but also, for example, to effects coming from M&A, which is an important part of the S&T strategy, but doesn't make it always that easy to compare the figures of S&T. On the other side, we have also decided that 50% of the net profits being achieved by S&T shall come to the benefit of our shareholders. The good cash conversion in the previous years and also the increasing profitability has allowed us also to propose a record dividend of 30 cents to the annual shareholder meeting 2021, which represents a dividend yield of around 1.4% of our current share price. With this program, which we plan to continue also for the upcoming years, we see a good balance on the one hand side to keep around 50% of the net profit within S&T Group to finance our organic growth, but also our acquisitions, but also have a fair share of those profits for our shareholders. If we look to the latest developments on the Q1 2021, we have seen a very strong order entry in the first quarter, which reached a record high of around 404 million at the revenues of 294 million. So a book-to-bill of around 1.3, which also indicates further growth for the financial year. We are also very happy about the recent design wins, which include really top customers on a global perspective. And as already mentioned, S&T customers are very diversified. So our top 10 customers account for around 19% of our revenues. Overall, we are serving more than 3,000 customers. And with this development of our backlog, of our opportunities, and also with a solid Q1, we are very confident to achieve again an improvement within the financial year 2021. Next to the operational performance, one very important topic for S&T is the improvement of our ESG ratings. S&T itself has the main focus on really development of hard and software technologies, and generally a lot of the solutions which S&T is providing for its customers can be considered as green solution because it results in efficiency gains. It reduces carbon emissions by digitalization of certain processes, virtual collaboration systems, etc. Nevertheless, we also want to improve here further. That's why we have decided on a couple of short-term actions, which we are executing in parallel to our long-term ESG plan, which foresees a three-step approach until 2023, and will be also one of the key components for the midterm incentive of the executive going forward, where we target that by the end of 2023, we have at least achieved a BBB rating on MSCI basis on the ESG side. Where is S&T heading? In the year 2021, despite the current chip crisis, we see ourselves on a very good path to achieve our guidance of a minimum 1.4 billion euros of revenues with an EBITDA of minimum 140 million and earnings per share of at least €1. That also allows us to confirm our 5-year plan, our Agenda 2023, which has been started in 2018, where we are targeting to double our sales to 2 billion with an EBITDA of at least 220 million and a further increase on the earnings per share to 175 cents. Overall, we have also communicated with our Capital Markets Day in September 2020, our Vision 2030. So in the next 10 years, our target is to really execute upon the current digitalization trends with the smart technologies S&T already has in its portfolio, or what we are also right now developing or planning to develop in the future. And this shall finally complete the transformation of S&T Group to a pure IoT solutions provider, allowing us also to improve our gross margins further. And from a financial perspective, we target to have by 2030 at least an EBITDA margin of 15%. That shall be both accomplished with our own R&D efforts and our organic growth, but also M&A remains a vital part of the S&T strategy to complement especially our software portfolio and become a more comprehensive player within the software field. And finally, as we are mainly in the business-to-business area, also the S&T brand is not that known. So we are also putting a lot of focus to really increase the brand awareness of S&T and also therefore having a broader knowledge, not only within the investor space, but also within other stakeholders. So finally, why to invest in S&T? As mentioned, S&T has been a company undergoing a constant transformation over the last 10 years. Nevertheless, throughout this period of change, S&T has constantly either met or exceeded its annual plans and guidances. We have continuously improved our gross and profit margins throughout the year, and we also see different market growth opportunities going forward. We also have a very strong backbone what concerns our customer base, but also our financial situation, which is allowing us to grow in different areas and also finance our growth from the existing liquid funds, but also from the cash flows going forward. Furthermore, we see that the technology which S&T has created over time is putting S&T into a leading position, for example, in the industrial automation market, in the public transportation market, but also in other different vertical end markets. And with the ongoing technology developments, that's a position which we plan to expand in the future. And finally, right now we see S&T as an attractive company what concerns the valuation of the company. Right now, with a share price of 20 euro per share, we have a potential upside to the target price of the consensus of our analysts of 30 euro per share of approximately 50%, and S&T is currently valued at 9 times EBITDA of the financial year 2021, which is very attractive compared to the peers of S&T. So I hope you could get more insight into S&T, and I would like to thank you for your attention.
Hi there, since you watched this company video until the end, I'm guessing you liked the video. And that's probably because we work very hard to create the most engaging and added value content for you. If you're a company and want to find out how we, at Seat11A, can make a company video with and about you, please email us at content@seat11a.com.